We got a number of guys here that can really ride bikes. I mean, they're on podiums of regional downhills and enduro races. So one Monday morning, one of the guys comes in with broken carbon crank. And we were noodling over the titanium crank. Specifically, it was a road crank project originally. And we said, hell, the real opportunity here is in the dirt. Take the titanium to the dirt. So that's when we shifted gears, got really excited about doing the titanium crank for trail bikes, enduro bikes, even cross-country race bikes. So I keep saying these cranks, well, the cranks are called eeWings. And what the hell's an eeWing, right? Well, it turns out that back in the 90s, a guy named Craig Edwards, an architect by trade, he was a mountain bike aficionado, really crazy about mountain bike parts and riding, and he started designing parts. He ended up designing a crank set, and at the time it was a revolutionary crank set. Matter of fact, many of the design features it had then in 1994 have affected crank designs to this day, and those cranks were called Sweet Wings. So the eeWings name is a tip of the hat to the original Sweet Wings. Craig Edwards continues to work with us outside the eeWings project, so he spent a lot of time with us on the crank, but he's also working on other projects with Cancreek that you'll see in the future. So two key pieces of performance of the crank are stiffness and strength. Stiffness is in terms of how much it deflects under a given load, all right? And that's important because we don't put out much power. Matter of fact, a very fit human can put out barely 2/3 of 1 horsepower for a brief instant of time. So we don't have much power. Whatever power we have, we want it to go in the bike without getting lost in flex and going in the wheel and propelling us forward, right? So a stiffer crank is going to give you more efficiency in getting the bike down the trail, okay? Not only that, some situations can provide more control as well. Strength, on the other hand, is how much load it can take, right? So in terms of big drops and whatever coming down flat, the eeWings can take a huge amount of load. Matter of fact, it's just off the charts compared to every other crank that we've tested. We did a very minimal graphic because the whole idea of the titanium, as I said, is it just brushes off impacts and scratches and so forth. So you're out doing a lot of riding in rough terrain, scraping on rocks or whatever, no big deal. Scotch-Brite pad, a few minutes, you're back to new again. In addition, since there wasn't enough titanium already, the fixing bolt, 10mm titanium fixing bolt, super bulletproof. The chainring bolts that connect the chainring to the crank, also titanium. And one of our favorite features is the bottom bracket preloader. We just could not see sliding on a piece of plastic with a wood screw to preload your bottom bracket. So we designed our own piece, CNC'd aluminum, and yes, again, a titanium screw for tensioning. And not only will it work on the eeWings, obviously, but it will work on other cranks as well. There are plenty of good quality carbon and aluminum cranks in the world. But this titanium crank offers some strength and stiffness characteristics that just are unmatched. On top of that, the impact resistance that normally chips, cracks, breaks carbon cranks, titanium brushes off and keeps on going.